New today, the South Carolina Department of Corrections announced an Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center jail guard is now behind bars for misconduct in office. Officials say Amara Brown admitted to communicating several times with an inmate outside of the jail on his contraband cell phone. Brown also admitted to ordering DoorDash for the inmate and delivered the food to his pod. Authorities say that the food was found by guards after a shakedown of the inmate's cell. Brown is facing misconduct in office and furnishing contraband to a prisoner charges. She was booked into the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center.
And also keeping in Richland County, a jail guard has been arrested and charged with giving contraband to a prisoner. She's 25-year-old Antonia Walker. Deputies say she was searched after she left her post without permission. They say during the search they found several bags of chips that had cigarettes in them. They also say they found a fountain drink cup full of alcohol. Investigators say Walker admitted to bringing in the contraband. She's currently being held in the Richland County Jail.
Guard at the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center was arrested for misconduct in office. 36-year-old Donisha Grady was charged after investigators say they got a report by supervisors and discovered she made 65 calls with an inmate since June of last year outside her shift hours. Grady was booked in the detention center, and this comes as 2 other guards were charged this week with providing contraband to inmates.
For the 4th time, another Richland County corrections officer is behind bars, charged with misconduct in office. Deputies say 23-year-old Azacia English is accused of making phone calls with an inmate outside of her shift hours since December 23rd. They say English was aware the inmate had a contraband cell phone. English was a jail guard and was also charged with accessory after the fact of a felony. She's being detained at the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center.
The Richland County Sheriff's Department says deputies arrested an employee at the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. This is the 5th employee charged so far just this month. Deputies say Zaria Watson was charged with furnishing contraband after deputies say they found a plant-like substance in her car. The Richland County Sheriff's Department says they were conducting an operation at the jail around 8 o'clock last night when they found contraband. Officials say Watson worked at the jail under Allied Barton security.
6th time this month, Richland County deputies arrested an employee at the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. RCSD says that Consuela Porch is charged with 3 counts of sexual misconduct with an inmate, 3 counts of furnishing contraband, and 1 count of misconduct in office. This comes after investigators say that she had a styrofoam cup with 2 Ziploc baggies filled with cigarettes and 3 vapes. Now, there's also other contraband that you see on your screen right now. Investigators say that all of this was in her car. Porch admitted that she was in an on-again, off-again relationship with an inmate for some time. She was booked into the detention center and given a $20,000 surety bond.
Meanwhile, authorities say Jakira Day is now in custody for possession with intent to distribute marijuana. Investigators say Day, who worked at the jail as a nurse, was found bringing in contraband to the facility. She is believed to have had contact with several inmates inside the jail. Day was booked into Alvin S. Glenn and given a $10,000 bond.
Well, last month, WIS reported the jail has failed its last 3 inspections. Now, with more than half a dozen Alvin S. Glenn employees arrested, the jail has 2 months to make the proper changes. A state security audit from July shows several issues inside the facility. This includes housing units, staffing, and other safety concerns.
Data from the state's Department of Corrections shows staffing has fluctuated over the last several years. ASG had 90 vacancies in 2020. That number went up to 172 in 2021, followed by declines over the next 2 years.
7 employees in total were arrested just this month, and Richland County officials revealed to us these arrests are the result of them cracking down on contraband.
I mean, I'm happy they're finally getting something done, but this should have been done a long time ago.
Unique Spain recently had a loved one released from the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. We spoke to Spain months ago about the conditions of the jail, but even then, she spoke on issues with contraband being snuck in.
This has been being brought to the forefront for the past over a year. And they always want to blame the detainees, but the detainees aren't going home getting drugs and contraband.
County officials say they've been enhancing their efforts to crack down on contraband. It's through a partnership with the Richland County Sheriff's Department. WIS has been following the arrest. They started on January 12th with Amara Brown, a correctional officer at the jail. She was arrested for furnishing contraband. According to an incident report, Brown admitted to communicating with an inmate by cell phone and would order and deliver food to him. Just a week later, another guard was arrested for contraband, and that trend has continued. The latest arrest went to a nurse who was contracted to work at the jail through another company. She was arrested January 26th. That employee also admitted to having an on-again, off-again relationship with one of the inmates. A similarity in these arrests is all the employees were women.
Obviously, female staff members are often an easy target to develop those relationships.
Hayden Smith is a criminology professor at the University of South Carolina. He explained that contraband is an issue within jails across the country.
It's unusual to see such a large number of employees caught in one effort. It seems to suggest this is the start of an investigation. I doubt that such large numbers will continue to be caught.
Professor Smith says while the arrests are a step in the right direction in creating a more functional jail, he agrees with Spain's sentiments that contraband should have been addressed in this magnitude earlier on.
Always hope that contraband and violations to safety are caught sooner than later. And there's always some vagueness about how these things develop. They often happen in an inmate-staff relationship. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but in a friendship.
Well, Alvin S. Glenn remains under investigation by the Department of Justice. I did reach out to Sheriff Lott for comment. He sent back this statement, which reads in part, those that are employed at the detention center and decide to bring contraband into the facility and have sex with inmates will be arrested. When they tarnish the oath they took, they will be treated the same as those that are inmates, end quote. Reporting here in the studio, I'm Ashley Jones, WIS News 10.
Richland County Sheriff's Department announced the arrest of another Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center employee. Authorities say that Shatara Smith is facing multiple drug charges after deputies say that she was caught bringing in contraband. During a body scan and item search, the Sheriff's Department says white pills were found buried in pasta. Smith was given a $20,000 bond.